What's up, guys? Exley's on the NFL. I'm Tony, and that over there is Stephen. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, and he is the Philadelphia fan, the only Philadelphia fan that I know. Hey,
Not many of us over it.
I don't think there is. We've got some news, some contract dealings, and things like that. As it is just hyping up to the new season and coming off of the draft, there's not masses and massives. I see Derrick Henry and the Baltimore Ravens reached an agreement of a $30 million extension that includes $25 million fully guaranteed over the next 2 seasons. I mean, he deserves that money.
Yeah, there's no
He
doubt
is
about
a
that.
very good running back.
Saquon being a freak athlete, he would have led the league. There's no two ways about it.
Saquon didn't get where he got in the league then, I don't think. I think Derrick Henry would have been top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, if God forbid Saquon had an injury or something and been out for the season, it would take Derrick Henry would have taken that he would have stormed the league for the season.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
he's fucking. I don't think I know of a season he hasn't played fucking amazing.
Well, I think he's had 4 seasons he's had over like 1,500 yards or something stupid.
Mental, isn't it? Can you imagine that?
So it's impressive as fuck what he does, and he's a madman. I mean, there's videos that went around last year of him stiff-arming someone while he was fighting.
Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
It's because he's King Henry, king of the running backs, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley is expected to be the Madden cover athlete. Do you think that the Madden curse will happen with him?
I don't know.
Same as it has like CMC and people like that.
I don't know if it's true, the curse.
I don't know if it's true.
Josh Allen had the cover, played the whole season. Still had a great year.
There is a few it's happened to, and they've not done well after they've been on the cover.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's anything to do with being a Madden cover athlete or just freak accidents.
Freak accident, and everyone reads into it what they want to read into it because...
Same as...
How many different teams were going to play in the Super Bowl?
Now everyone's saying, the NFL have caught on to us, so they've put loads of colours in to throw us off, and that's not what's happening. It's just a freak accident. There's been like 59 Super Bowls. There's going to be some overlap of colours.
Well, Derrick Henry is definitely worth the money, in my opinion.
What I will say about his contract is I've noticed, especially with the running backs, they tend to have these smaller contracts but higher guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Running backs and like the O-line, I would say, get these smaller contracts but more guaranteed money.
Yeah. Yeah, rather than like QBs have...
They get loads of incentive and what have you, don't they? Because, I mean, for O-line and stuff, it's a lot harder to reach incentives, isn't it? It's not like they can run to however many yards or...
Push 17 people every game. While we're on contracts, we might as well go down the rest of the contracts that we've got here. Brock Purdy signs 5 years, $265 million with the Niners. From last year, I would have said I don't think he was worth that. Year before, when they made it to the Super Bowl. No, they made it to the Super Bowl the year before against the Chiefs. Done really well.
They did have CMC for that season.
Yeah, so
he's a big part of their offense.
Do you think they would have got to the Super Bowl this year if they had CMC?
No, purely because of how some teams were dominant. Eagles' defense was destroying people. Detroit's defense was destroying people. You know, there was certain things that took certain teams to certain places, and I think that wouldn't have affected how their seasons went, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Niners were better on offense. How dominant the defenses of the Eagles, the Commanders, the Lions. I don't know if that would have been enough for them to still get through. I think they would have made playoffs. I definitely think they would have made playoffs.
Oh, yeah, if they had CMC.
Maybe made divisional. Not sure if they would have made past divisional, like to the championship.
No, maybe not. No, because you can't bank. You can't say the Niners are going to be amazing just because of one man. When it's I
do think he would have possibly helped them maybe get to at least a wild card.
Yeah, I agree. But Well, never know.
I don't know if he's going to be worth the contract.
Hendrickson says he won't play for Bengals in 2025 under current contract. What contract's he under?
Well, he's on his last year, isn't he?
Right, so he wants an extension.
He wanted a new deal, but Bengals.
Yeah. We spoke briefly about that last week.
Yeah. So he's been saying that he's not going to play with his current contract that's in place. He's going to sit the year out.
I mean,
as it stands.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I can't really say that's a good thing.
Defensive player, really.
Yeah. So it is definitely going to affect their defense.
Unless they happen to be hiding another version of Trey Hendrickson, their defense wasn't that great last year.
I don't know if they've got it. But
so it'll be an interesting year for them.
But the Bengals' first-round pass rusher, Shamar Stewart, will continue to hold out due to a contract disagreement with the team. Stewart will not be part of phase 2 of the off-season workouts. How can he hold out? He's only just been drafted, surely. Surely you can't just hold out like that. I mean, he is clearly.
You wouldn't think so. I mean, I thought the point was you get drafted and that's your team. You take your rookie contract and you just...
Or don't go into the NFL.
I think this goes back a bit to the NIL stuff from last week.
Yeah.
You know, they get way too much money. I seen a thing earlier because Shador Sanders has apparently just signed his rookie contract. He's taken like a $2 million pay cut.
He just wants to be in the NFL. He doesn't care what he's paid.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is a lot of them get too much money. They come in expecting these mega contract deals in the NFL. And then when they don't get it, like, I'm going to sit out.
Yeah, this is the difference between someone like this and Shador Sanders. He's made his money in NIL and stuff like that and endorsements and stuff. So now when he's playing in the NFL, he's not being a baby about it. Doesn't seem to affect where he's been drafted.
He seems to be
pick he was at. Just doing it, just showing that he's got what it takes to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
Fred Warner agrees to... Sorry, go on.
Get rid of a lot of the NIL so that this shit doesn't happen. And I think also this kid seems to forget that he could probably just be traded, end up somewhere he doesn't want to be, and then he's even more screwed. Be
traded and still not get the contract he wants and just be on the practice squad or something like that.
End up somewhere he don't want to be and then get kicked out in a year or two. They'll just drop him, they'll cut him from the team and be like, no, you're gone.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Excuse me. Fred Warner agrees to a 3-year, $63 million extension with $56.7 million guaranteed. That is, again, what we were just talking about. Not a massive contract, but a big guaranteed lump sum.
Yeah. It seems to be becoming a lot more common with positions that aren't wide receiver, QB, and stuff like that, you know, what they consider the star positions, skill positions. But I mean, linebacker, you could put in incentives, I suppose. Yeah. But I know it's going to be good for the Niners.
Yeah, the Niners do need everything they can get, and they need to keep hold of what they can keep hold of, and they let go of Deebo Samuel, but whatever.
And they let go of Ayuk.
Yes, they did. So Bears agreed to terms with guard Joe Thuney on a 2-year contract extension worth $35 million, including $33.5 million fully guaranteed. Again, massive guarantee. I think that's the way to do it. Maybe not with the running backs. The QBs are on $200 million. Can't give them $197 million guaranteed. They need their incentives.
I think this is a good one for the Bears, though. They pounded like a drum. They need more. And Joe Thuney, I read a stat. Joe Thuney in 23, I think it was, when he was playing for the Chiefs, he didn't give up a single sack.
It's everything the Bears need. I'm sure there was a last season. I'm sure Caleb got sacked something like 8 or 9 times in one game.
Yeah, something insane. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like 9 times in one game. I can't remember who they were playing.
I can't remember either. I'll let you read the next contract. I will highlight it so you can see it, if you can see it.
Oh, the Nick Sirianni one, getting this multi-year extension. Yeah, I mean, after the Super Bowl, I think everybody saw this coming because he was due for a contract. He's been with the Eagles about 4 years nearly.
And there was so many people calling for him to be sacked.
The year before. Remember. Yeah, I think that's mad. I mean, before last season, I'd seen so many people in the off-season saying, like analysts and stuff, "Oh, this is going to be his year to tell whether he gets sacked or not. They should fire him to bring somebody new in." And Jeffrey Lurie and Roy Hasman said, "We trust him. We know what he's doing. We're going to let him do what he's got to do."
Yeah.
And he led them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And they won.
you look at his stats. 4 playoff berths in 4 years. That's playoffs every single year, regardless of whether they made it any further. Average season record of 12-5, 2 Super Bowls, 1 trophy, active leader in winning percentage, 8-20 regular season record in 4 seasons, 54 of 23, including playoffs.
What more can you ask for from a head coach?
That is head coach material right there.
I said at the start of before last season, how the season before ended, after the 2023 season, it was a shit show. Even I thought, like, yes, it's not looking good for him in a lot of what he chose to do. But then you sort of, when they started making moves to bring new people in, bring certain people back, and what have you, between him and Howie in the draft, and suddenly a lot of more was starting to make more sense. I mean, they were clearing out a lot of the expensive players to bring new players in and rebuild, essentially.
Yeah, they've done it. They won a Super Bowl, and they're still rebuilding now, and it's fucking outstanding.
It's such a young roster as well. I mean, a lot of the players are still on their rookie contracts.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? So, and they've got, I looked it up the other day, AJ Brown, I believe, is the first person's contract on the offensive line to run out of all the stars. And that's not till either 2028 or 2029.
Still got a good few seasons before they need to start thinking about contract extensions for people like that.
The big name players. And so I don't think it was fair to call for his head at the end of that season. But I think he's proven he can win. And I think he's deserving of the contract.
I totally agree with that. And I would actually like to see if the Eagles can do what the Chiefs done and go back-to-back Super Bowls. But at the same time, being a Packers fan, I really hope they don't. So who do you think will be QB1 for the Steelers this season?
I think they should move on from the whole Rodgers situation.
I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
I wonder if he would even play more than a year. Do you know what I mean? You put him on a 2-year. Look what happened with his 3-year, supposed to be 3-year deal in New York. He only went on 2.
I agree, but I definitely think he is going to sign and be the starter.
I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if he did sign and they did put him as starter. I think maybe they should sign him to a 2-year, make him the starter for the first year. If it works, ride it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, keep him as a veteran, pass on knowledge to whoever they replace him with. But aside from that, I don't actually know who their QB is or what QBs they have on their roster.
No. Sorry, 1 second. I am literally sending you a post that I cannot read on it. Let me see. Where are we? Steelers QBs.
That's ridiculous.
So
by position, who they got as a QB listed on their roster? They have Will Howard, Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson.
As of now,
I think Mason Rudolph is their starter.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, but I definitely think A-Rod is going to sign and he will be QB1.
Yeah, because what have we got? So Will Howard's a rookie. Skylar Thompson has 4 years. Mason Rudolph has 8. I mean, looking at it, I'm not sure one's better than the other.
No, I was just looking at Mason Rudolph. He's got 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions for last season.
I think he's more of a backup.
Yeah.
Out of the 3, I think Rudolph is your guy. But
yeah, Skylar Thompson has got 187 yards.
That's not a good position to be in. I can see why they want to hold out for Rodgers, but surely you can find somebody else.
It's going to be a toss-up, in my opinion. I reckon Mason Rudolph will start, but
they could trade with the Giants.
Yeah, but I've also seen a lot of fans are saying Will Howard should start, But I'm definitely going with, if A-Rod doesn't get signed, Mason Rudolph will start for the Steelers.
I reckon they should trade with the Giants for Jameis Winston.
Winston's fire, man. Even if, no matter what you think of him as a QB, he is funny as fuck. Like,
I think they should trade Skylar Thompson for Jameis Winston, just so you can have Jameis on the sideline. Get him to be the representative for the day. Any media stuff.
Right. So you've got here, there's a few QBs in a crucial year with their team. I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, I think, but by that I mean, like, I think their contracts are going to be looked at, how much they're getting paid. Are they worth it? Should they be traded, released, whatever? Because you can see by the side of it, I've put how far they've gotten in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think Brock Purdy's going to be very much under scrutiny for this year, because the Niners are going to want to know if they're getting what they want for the money they're paying.
Yeah.
Because he's like the 7th highest paid QB now. I mean, he's paid more than Jalen Hurts.
Is he?
That's funny, he's going to be under scrutiny this year.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, I think is his name.
That sounds right.
Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, and Russell Wilson. I think they're all going to be getting their contracts looked at. Are they going to be value for money?
Russell Wilson just moved, though, didn't he?
He did. He moved to the Giants.
So his I wouldn't say is currently going to be under scrutiny.
No, but he's only on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, he's going to be under the microscope.
Yeah, because I mean, he went to Pittsburgh. They made the playoffs, I think, wild card, and didn't go any further.
Yeah,
he was in Denver for a few years, and we all know how it went with Denver. That was not a good situation. That's why he was released.
Yeah,
he's made 3 playoff games in 10 years. Well, won 3 playoff games in 10 years. So people are going to, and he's not young. He's in his 30s.
Yeah.
So I think whatever happens this year is going to dictate to teams whether they sign him and whether they sign him as a starter or a backup.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do well, if he gets any more contracts, I think there'll be backup contracts. If he does well, he could get re-signed. He could get a new contract somewhere else, whatever. But I think this year, for these people, it's very much going to be your careers under the microscope. I mean, mainly because he hasn't been anywhere past the division round.
In a long time.
Well, in his entire career.
Gee.
That's what I'm saying. These bits that I've put next to him is the furthest they've gone in the playoffs. So, I mean, I've not done it with Brock Purdy because he made a championship game. He made the Super Bowl. But they're going to want to see they're getting what they paid for him. But Dak, Tua, Justin Herbert, Kyler, and Russell Wilson, they're going to get their contracts looked at. I mean, Dak is the highest paid QB in the league.
I was just looking at Kyler Murray. He came in 2012. 2012. Jeez, I couldn't get my words out then. I didn't quite realise how long he had been in the NFL. Oh, no, that's his high school statistics. So he's been in since 2019.
Yeah, but I mean, 2019 he's been there, and he's been with the Cardinals that whole time, and hasn't been
their first round, first pick.
Yeah, and he hasn't been past the wild card.
He moved quite well last year, but we'll see how he comes back into this season.
Again, Justin Herbert, he's done pretty well, but hasn't gone past the wild card.
Tua's been written off. Like last season was nothing for Tua, like concussion after concussion.
Justin Herbert's got a 5-year, $262.5 million deal that runs through the 2029 season.
Jeepers.
So he's going to get his looked at, I think, because if you're not getting past the wild card round and you're paid that kind of money,
well, you look at Tua's stats for last season: nearly 3,000 passing yards, 19 touchdowns.
Yeah. Stats are only half the story, though. If you can't lead your team...
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and he's had quite a few concussions, remember? He's been written out of a fair few games.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. We'll see.
I'm not saying any of these are going to get sacked. I'm not saying these people are going to be kicked out of the league. I'm just saying these people are probably going to be in quite a crucial point in their contracts. These teams are going to have them under a microscope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally agree. Totally agree.
I think the most interesting one, though, is going to be Dak and Russell Wilson. I think they're going to be the two interesting ones to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Because as I say, if Russell does well, he could be re-signed to a contract extension.
Yeah, to get a couple of years.
Yeah. If he doesn't, they're probably just going to ship him off. I think it's going to be an interesting season for them.
Yeah, I agree. NFL owners are scheduled to meet Tuesday,
which will be today,
Wednesday, in Minneapolis to vote on a proposal to ban the tush push that the Eagles have mastered. The proposal was tabled this spring at the league meeting in West Palm Beach, but is expected to come to a vote this week.
Yeah. But I did notice the Packers resubmitted it with slight word changing.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I don't remember what the word changing was, but they've apparently resubmitted it with word changing. What is expected is probably going to be the outcome. They won't ban the play itself. What they'll ban is the pushing of the ball carrier.
Yeah.
Which was a rule that never used to be allowed. You never used to be able to push the ball carrier.
Yeah.
So it's been ruled in at some point. So they could quite easily rule it back out. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
No, I wouldn't, to be fair. Because it is, I wouldn't say the tush push is an unfair advantage. I would say pushing the ball carrier is an unfair advantage.
To a certain degree, yeah.
Well, if you think of it this way,
defense can't do it, can they?
Defense, no. No. But if you look at it the opposite way, is tackling class as pushing the other player back. You know what I'm saying?
Technically, they're pushing the ball carrier.
Exactly. That is what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, it'll come out and it'll be what it'll be.
I mean, once the ruling's been made one way or the other, everyone's just going to have to accept it.
Yeah. You're going to get people that, like the few teams that can do it, they're going to complain like, fuck, that everyone wanted this banned because they can't do it. And if it doesn't get banned, the teams that can't do it are going to complain because they can't do it. Not just the Packers. Anyone that hasn't mastered it.
But, I mean, ironically, I believe it was the head coach of the Bills was saying he didn't like the optics of it. But if I remember rightly, they were one of the other teams. I think they were the second. Well, I think they were the second highest team in how many times that they'd run that play last season. But he was the head coach was like, I don't like the optics of it. It's like, well, don't fucking run it so much.
Right. This is our last thing that we have written down, so you can take this.
The former Jets GM who got fired at near the end of last season is coming back to the Eagles. He used to be with us, and it's now looking like he's coming back as a senior scout. He was vice president of player personnel from 2016 until 2019 when he went to the Jets as the GM. And now it looks like he's coming back as senior scout because we lost ours recently.
You lost quite a few staff and team players.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when you have a Super Bowl winning formula, everyone's going to want them people, aren't they? You know?
Yeah.
If they're free agents, people are going to be like, come join us. We give you more money. Join us.
We'll give you all the money.
We give you a moolah, my friend. So, yeah, I mean, it's understandable you're going to lose people. And it's part of NFL, you know. You're not going to be able to pay everybody everything they want when their new contract comes up.
Definitely.
You've got to find people to replace it.
Hopefully, I will experience that in my lifetime as a Packers fan.
They're looking quite good this year.
Yeah, we're looking quite tidy this year. Hopefully, our rookies will pan out the way that we're hoping. And Matthew Golden's looking good.
Been to the playoffs the last 2 years.
Yeah. So hopefully this year will be divisional round, if not the Super Bowl. I'd like to see them get just a step closer.
What I would have liked to have seen last year was the NFC Championship game as the Eagles and Packers.
Yeah.
That would have been quite good. But you kind of got slapped a little bit twice.
A little bit. Fuck you. I'm done. Are you done, you bell end? Yeah. That's all from us. Don't be a Philly fan unless you are a massive bell end like my brother over here. Peace.